What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Raf Esparza.
Yes,
Are you here? That's me.
I'm here.
That was the
Can you hear
pre-show
me?
Raf from 2 days ago. This is the real Raf of live. Quick, Tim, ask me how it's the real me.
How do I know this is really Raf?
Because I fucked up the production and I'm admitting it on air live. And I would not.
I'm excited to talk to you about it. There's some other stuff going on in the jiu-jitsu world right now. There's some rumors, some interesting things going, some interesting historical things are coming out in the wash, as well as who's number one's popping up. It might have be live already or in the next 30 minutes or so. So a lot of good stuff, Raf. I'm glad you made it back safely from Las Vegas. Great job. I thought you killed it. Can't wait to chat about it, man.
I appreciate that, sir. And wait, we can't get ahead of it. We're not ready for this graphic. We have to take this graphic off. This graphic will become more important a little bit later, but you're going to have to stick around to see that. But for right now, why don't we start off with this, Tim? There were some incredible things that happened over the week, but none more important to us here at the show than the return of the PGF opening day ceremonies kicked off this week. Sir, how did you enjoy them? Just off the top, what were some of your favorite moments from opening day ceremonies?
I really liked CJ Murdoch addressing the commissioner's table, saying, if you call me old one more time, and somebody was like, it wasn't me. But
I'm pretty sure that was Egg.
I think it was, and I think he said egg, or I heard somebody go egg in the background. I super appreciated that. And he also picked up a money bag out of it, which I thought was great. He appealed to the table. He said, you've done me wrong. And then he appealed to the crowd and did the hoop 'em up. Hey, I'm awesome. And then he turned around and a money bag was delivered right into his lap. So I thought that was a great moment. Overall, not a huge surprise. None the teams are all like super close. I think 4 points separates them. Ferreira came out hot, man, and you predicted that, and you were right. He looked really, really, really strong. Jet Thompson, surprised he wasn't on the board.
Yeah, so just to kind of tell people a little bit about that, I know there was some weird part where it's like, oh man, Jet's not performing. Jet had a very hard first day. Now, sometimes if you are paid a lot of money, it does make it seem like you've got to perform. I would just tell you that him and Landon Elmore starting off the day was telling you what you needed to know. It wasn't going to start off like easy for him. And he didn't put points on the board, but he was definitely putting pressure on people in a way that was like, no, he's still good at jiu-jitsu. But I think there may be a day or two in his future where things will work out a little bit better for him. It was just, that was an interesting thing, but that tended to be a big windfall because then you had Anthony Molina Valdez, who's skyrocketing on day one, gets off to a great start, and you get him, Hoffa, at the top of the leader charts and not too far behind. Some very good performances by even Christos and some other folks there. So I like that you got a little bit of a spread, but you said I predicted one thing with Hoffa, and I felt that was there. But I also told you a couple weeks ago, I thought the teams were pretty well split. Like, I think there is a pretty good distribution of who can perform. It doesn't mean it's going to last forever. But I think we saw what I was pointing out at the time, and people were still kind of hesitant. I think Egg was the one that was like, I don't know, which wrong. But everybody being in the same vicinity made it so much more fun to watch. Were there any matches that stood out to you, Tim? Because we had these performers, and you did talk about, obviously, CJ addressing the dais, if you would. But any matches that stuck out to you, sir?
I mean, there were a lot of cool things that happened, and from just certain things that kind of catch my eye. I was paying attention to the Jordan Worth, and I think it was it Juan Martinez that Worth got the submission on? I think it was. If it wasn't, I
Mike John.
apologize. My okay, Mike John. He gets the heel hook. And his Jordan Worth's reaction is surprise. Like, oh, I got it. And then it's, are you okay? It's concern. He's like, are you okay? He's looking at him like, dude, are you all right? Are you sure you're all right? And I thought that was kind of cool to see. Some of these guys probably need to play themselves up just a little bit more. And then some of them might need to take it down a little bit. But I think because they're going to have time to step away from it for a week, maybe go back and watch it, get some feedback, think about what they're trying to do. It actually lets them get better for the next time. Because on top of performing, like athletically, they have to perform. They have to be entertaining for the people at home that are watching. That's the whole key thing about it. That match really was the one that kind of jumped out to me in terms of like, oh, that's an interesting thing that just popped off right there. Most of the time you get a tap at the PGF, you're running around the mat screaming, give me the bag, right? Worth was like shocked.
Yeah, some context for that. So Worth tapped Mike John, and the two have faced each other before and they have a lot of respect for each other. So there was a moment where both of them had very complimentary things to say about one another. And it was kind of cool to see that good sportsmanship. What I can tell you is this, though. I went up and I congratulated people as I saw they had good moments. But I wanted to take a moment to address the, by and large, PGF community with just a minute full of advice. First, I would compliment people and I'd say, hey, good job. And they go, didn't have the day I wanted. And I'm like, but you're on the board. Like, the people at the top of the board didn't take compliments. And I get it. Job's not done. Sounds good. Take the fucking compliment. 2, do not ask for the money bags. It is quickly becoming the way you will not get the money bags. There was a drop in the chat that was suggested, hey guys, the more you ask for it, the less likely you are to get it. So this is not quite like the UFC where you just yell at Dana White and you get money, because even then you don't always get it. So all I'm saying is let your performances speak for themselves. And if you are going out there, take some pride in what you do and understand, yeah, even the people at the top of the charts were trying to tell me when I said, hey, that was a good moment. Man, I didn't have the day I wanted. Okay, but you're at the top of the charts. So it just goes to show you from top to bottom, nobody had the day they wanted. So what you have to take that to mean is you have to get into the mental game of it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. Do not lose track of just getting on the board. If you got on the board, that's a pretty good place to be, just to start. And if you notice, the team standings still very close. So nothing is set in stone. This is basically the beginning of what is going to be a very tough journey. And before we move on, I do want to point this out. As I was talking with a lot of the athletes and, giving them their props when I could, or giving them an acknowledgement, I just want to remind you guys that this is all a game. You are playing a game from the minute you step on the mats to the minute you step off of them to the minute you're on camera. So just note that it is going to challenge you in ways that you probably have not been challenged in other tournaments. Like if you go to compete at a local tournament, the spotlight is on you when you are on the mats and you're competing. Here, the spotlight doesn't stop. So every element of gamesmanship that you see from your fellow competitors, even in some cases your teammates, just remember it's a game and keep that in perspective. And last, I know I said don't ask for money bags. The other small piece of advice I have here is work on your promos, because screaming at Egg will only work for so long. Because he's a good foil, and believe me, we know, we've done it. But Egg is not the person you're competing against. So sometimes, and I'll just give you an idea of what this sounds like, when you're like, see, Egg, it sounds like you're talking out your father issues. So it's coming off as, you like me now, Dad? And Egg's just like, hey, man, just doing what I'm doing. Numbers, crazy, man. I just want you to do well. So sure, jot some down. You know, it's like this. If a lawyer is not present for you, maybe we can assign you a local comedy writer to write you out some quips. But don't be afraid to come ask some of your fellow friends to write you some jokes, because I want to see you guys succeed. And we had a moment where I asked Christos to try and convince me of why he deserved a money bag when he felt he was robbed of one. And he was incapable of doing it. So, just saying, top to bottom, guys. That's all. Tim, do you feel like that is good advice?
Oh, absolutely. I'm shocked that you caught Christos in a moment with nothing to say. You actually you put him in a position where he's like,
No, you know what he did is I had the money bag in hand, and I said, what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to hold this in my hand, and I want you to convince me why I should throw this at you. And then he basically, what about Raven me? And was just like, I mean, come on, man. I was in there. You saw me. I was doing good. And other people had bullshit things. And I go, yeah, that's not getting me to give you this money. Like, we got to do the Christos full babyface turn. I don't buy him as a heel. Even though he says heel-like things and some of his rhetoric can be heel in nature, I think he's got a better shot telling us that he's a true babyface, and he's got to work on that. So there is that. But I see this from Reckless 10P, who says, PGF is the best. Thank you. Appreciate that comment. If you guys give us good comments, we will put them on the show. And even if you give us bad comments, it still might make the show. I can't promise you one way or another. And then it says, Twisters to win the season. Well, yes, there are going to be some bounties if you guys want to pay up for it. And that there. And it says, it's a long season, too close to call. Of course. That's the point. But what you're finding right now is you saw some emerging players and you saw hints of what might be coming up. And I feel like that's the nice thing. Think of week 1 as your appetizer, your aperitif. And now you actually get to enjoy a 5-course meal over the next few weeks. So get out your fancy napkins, put the forks in the right spot, and enjoy this fine dining meal. But we should move on now to our next topic, which is this tonight. Who's number 1 is about to take place. Tim, what can you tell us about this modestly anticipated event?
Yeah, so who's number 1's going down in Miami. It's kind of cool to see who's number 1 and Flo traveling around, right? It used to kind of be in one spot. It's kind of cool to see him moving around. The main event is Wagner Rocha and Kit Dale, which I think could be an interesting matchup, but, and I could be wrong. What do I know? Just a lot. I think Kit's going to have to take some chances to make this entertaining. Like, just do some stuff. Go out there and get after it and see what happens. Otherwise, it could end up, a long match with 2 guys kind of pushing each other around. I really like Adele Fornerino and Jasmine Rocha. I think that's going to be a banger of a match. Fornerino is top elite level right now, and Jasmine's approaching that level. So this is going to be a really good test. This is going to be a great matchup. And then the other one I really want to see is Jimenez and Ryan Aiken. Obviously, Aiken's coming off of a killer 2024. I know we're halfway through 2025. We haven't seen him a ton in 2025. And this is a big test. A guy like Roberto Jimenez can fight up or down. It doesn't really matter. And he's pretty dynamic both ways. So I'm really looking forward to those matchups. I heard that there's like something else going on, like an announcement of some kind, but I'm not positive what that's about. Have you heard about that, Raf?
Vaguely. So here's kind of the way it goes. It's like, first they sound the alarm by Craig sending a note to Alex Wendling, like, announce the announcement. And then Alex sends it out to the masses and says, thy king is about to speak. He has announcement of which we don't know. You have to pay to play. So I'm going to assume it might be CJI based, but I think they were teasing 2 announcements here, Tim. So it begs the question, what do you think they are? I'm going to make an assumption here. I think one is CGI based and one is a match based thing. Where it exists, I don't know, but I would like to point this out before I get your response. Does it make more sense now why they have partnered with Flow Grappling now that we have seen Craig's participation with B Team being a little more outside of it? Because before they used to just air CJI on the B Team channel. So it begs the question, are they thinking about the future of separating those 2 entities? So now you do need to partner with, say, a Flow Grappling, and now you do need to make these strategic partnerships. Maybe it's still going to be on there. We don't know. But what are your assumptions for those 2 announcements, sir?
Yeah, I think you're on track with it being something related to CJI. I would imagine with Craig being there, that's a big opportunity to cross promote that, even though the Flow audience is going to know. If you're watching Who's Number One, you know what CJI is. So it probably will be related to that. It could be like a super fight or something like in that nature. Or it could be Craig announcing that he's going to have a fight himself. I wouldn't be surprised if that is the announcement. On top of that, I think we're going to see a lot of Craig on Flow. I wouldn't be shocked. I think, it's pretty obvious with all the things that he's been doing with them lately that they have something worked out. Maybe we'll get more details on that. But if you're going to, tease a big announcement, it better be juicy. It better not be like when Tito was going to fight Dana and they were going to have this big kickboxing match. And I stayed up till 2 a.m. watching this damn thing. And it never happened. At the end, it just petered out. There was like nothing big there. Don't waste our excitement, Craig. Like, you got our attention. You better have something good for us.
What a good threat, Tim. That'll definitely make the announcement better if it wasn't. I don't know, man. I trust Craig has good things to plug. And I wonder if maybe an announcement is one of the other topics we have here on the board, because that's garnered some interest, but we'll get to that shortly. Why don't we advance this? And it was somewhat surprising to me that you knew of this rumor when I try not to pay attention to this sort of dumb stuff, and sometimes it seeps in and I don't care, but it picked up more traction this week when somebody who used to work with the UFC, I believe in their publicity, why Mo and the ADCC with UFC Fight Pass. So Tim, do you mind giving us some of the details from where you left off on it?
Yeah, so this is my takeaway from it, and I might not, I didn't research this. I don't spend much of my free time studying Mojazim, but apparently a former executive, somebody that had some kind of position at the UFC, they go on a podcast and then they talk about, hey, here's what happened with Mo Jassim in the UFC. And the gist of the story was that Mo was meeting with the UFC Fight Pass executives, and he had his girlfriend along, and one of the executives insulted his girlfriend by insinuating or inquiring if she was available for hire or services, or that's kind of what it alluded to, which is not the story I heard. I heard an inside story, and it wasn't that story. Not even close. Now, the interesting thing is today, Mo came out and said, all this is fake. None of this is true. I have a great relationship with the UFC. Why would I be, how could I have such a great, the logic was funny. How could I have such a great relationship if this was true? I have a great relationship. Never gave any evidence for what that great relationship is. Who knows, man? This could just be podcast fodder. You know what I mean? And then the news cycle picks it up and throws it out there. But Mo's reacting to it, so there's got to be something going on.
Oh, I wasn't sure what to believe at all. And then I heard Mo say, absolutely not true. And I thought it's probably true. So let's play with it being true, because who knows? It might be, probably isn't. But if it were to be true, it would be a massive failure on two different sides here. The first side being that they couldn't get past some sort of weird, small, insignificant thing. Like, wouldn't you just get that person fired for being inappropriate outside of work relations? Two, if that's really the only holdup that keeps the organization from amplifying what could have been good for the sport, and we couldn't get past that, it's really dumb on all parties' involvement. And three, it goes to show how petty and fragile these egos are if it were to be true. Because what you might hear, if it was true, is somebody saying like, I know I would never let that stand. You could never do that to me. Well, you might also be hindering what may be a great amplifier to making it work. What I've heard in the past was they didn't have enough ways to stream, which was absurd. It was a terrible explanation, because why would you do a deal with somebody and then after the fact go, oh, you don't have the things to stream multiple nats? Oh my God. Well, this can't work. No. Two, then if that was the case, they left it so ambiguous that you're going to get these dumb stories. Three, why is somebody who worked with the UFC creating an extra story that's just like an extra step or two? And sometimes I think I believe it's a gentleman who's worked in the PR department, if not headed it. Normally, these are the people who are burying the secrets.
Yeah.
So
right.
Why would you dig up a completely different secret if your job is normally to assure us that what is actually happening for sure is not happening? And now that you're doing this on a podcast, you're alluding to something that didn't happen at all. Very strange. I will say this, though. It's a learning mechanism, because that opened the door for UFC BJJ. It also opened up the door for them to go more toward a CJI format. So even these little small repercussions of people and their relationships have larger folds that then take place and really, really set forth how the rest of the industry goes. So this is what I'm talking about when people want a more professional product. It comes from top down. So someone's not telling you the truth if these are untrue. And if it's the case, I don't think the true version is all that smarter or more satisfactory. So for the benefit of the sport, it'd be great if some people could get their shit together and come up with a somewhat plausible PR excuse for how this all worked. But trying to tell us like, oh yeah, they just didn't have the infrastructure to put on that many mats. Okay. Never crossed your mind to ask that question until you started trying to put the events on. Okay. That just goes to show who produces this. Got it. Let me tell you this, though, right now. Hey, Tim, it's Rudy from Honduras. So cool to be here before Who Number One starts. All the best. Shout out to Big MF and Raf. Well, thank you, Adolfo. Very nice of you.
Yeah. Rudy's been a loyal supporter of Inside BJJ for a long time. Yeah, that's dope.
Much love and appreciation to you, sir. And it says primo high school drama. Now, listen, we're not above dumb high school drama here, because
not at all.
It's literally how most of these things go back and forth. And you know what? That's a great transition to our next topic, which is MICA, KADE. What's going on here, young men? Because listen, there's now going back and forth as to why this match isn't happening, Tim. So from your opinion, for these two young men who have met before and apparently want a rematch, what is the holdup? Why are we not seeing this match?
I don't know why we're not seeing it. It's interesting. And I think I'm onto the trail of something with MICA. I don't have it all sussed out yet, but weren't we just talking about MICA Gate, like Belt Gate, like 2 weeks ago when MICA was complaining about name dropped out of my head, his opponent grabbing his belt, right? And now it feels like he's maybe going back to his losses, and he's kind of walking through them, because MICA lost to KADE in 2022 ADCC finals. He lost to an inside heel hook. Mika's not easy to tap. So it feels like Mika's kind of going back and looking through it and then getting a little salty, putting some word out there. Or maybe they're trying to set the stage for something that maybe Craig is going to announce that tonight. Maybe that's the announcement. Maybe we're going to see MICA and KADE at CJI. How cool would that be? Mika's a flow product. We know that. I don't know what KADE's situation is, but that'd be a great matchup to see. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if KADE doesn't seem like he's all that like super upset about it. Although Mika did say like, we need to do this in all formats, like in the gi and no gi, which I kind of find like, okay, you beat me in a hot dog eating contest, but can you beat me in a spelling contest? We got to do a spelling contest now. It's like, you lose, man. It's just part of the game. If you want a rematch and you're salty, just say that. That's a better way to get it.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement here, and I'm glad you put that up because, Tim, I do think that's a high possibility they would announce that tier tonight. That would be the one to make right now. That has a lot of heat going toward it, and it just magically, organically came about where it's like, how dare you say those things about me not wanting a match? I, too, requested a formal Queensberry match under the rules contested by Queen Elizabeth III. Like, no, dude, just give us timestamps. Show us it. You're just telling us that you got in touch with some matchmakers to try and make it happen. But none of us care about that shit. We all take you at your word because you're good at jiu-jitsu. The resume speaks for itself. The hype, the drama, I think it works for a certain subset of people who want to get in the comment section to say why one person's going to win over the other. Okay. I think they'd still do that even if they announced why one of you guys were going to have a match with the other. They'd just be like, oh, they're having a match? Yeah, I think he might win because X or Y or Z. You have that kind of resume, you guys. I just find it so wild that these guys are going back and forth and we all go, we agree. Would be good. Yeah. And let's make it happen. As opposed to any of us being like, well, I agree with him. I think he probably texted Ricardo to get that match made. I believe him more. He's scared. Neither of these gentlemen are scared. Get the fuck out of here.
Those guys are like litigating in internet court, quoting like, well, this and that. Meanwhile, the crowd has formed a circle around him. And we're like, yeah, we want to see you fight. Like, we circled up. We're ready. Nobody's getting in this circle. Y'all got to fight now, right? They're like, let's do it.
I think it makes it kind of wild, too, because they're like stalling for the right time. They're like, oh, yeah, well, we'll settle this. The crowd's all around them. They're like, yeah, okay, hold me back. You want to do this next week? How
we're here now.
Right now? Nah, like, how about who's number 130 or Craig Jones Invitational? You guys want that? How about now? Damn, we really played this hand pretty heavy. Well, having said that, MICA, KADE, we love you both. I don't care who did it. He said, she said, just make it happen. And I think the community is going to rally around it, no matter when it's announced. It could headline the next who's number ones, because y'all said you want to do it in gi and no gi, and apparently at a bowling alley on an arcade game, you're going to go on hot ones together to see who can finish the wings faster. Fine. Do all of these things. We'll end with some golf, and then we'll call it a day. But for right now, let's just try to make the no-gi version work, because I don't know that there's a demand for a gi match when there is no show that's putting on super fights for gi matches right now that has garnered a ton of attention. So just saying, not that it's impossible. We'll still watch it no matter what, but just read the room, guys. How about we go to our next topic, which is what's going on with ONE FC? Tim, I am baffled by this because just this week, Danielle Kelly said that she was looking forward to going back to ONE FC. And we've heard about their troubles, but she said she's down for another match. Well, that's not going to happen now because they just cut her from the roster. And one of the people on that board is Tom DeBlas himself. So I would assume he would be a good advocate for her. So I think is this indicative of things happening behind the scenes that maybe signal that they do have some troubles? Or is it just a little bit more of organizational ineptitude that made that sort of logistic blunder happen?
I don't know. It's a weird thing because just like a week and a half ago, DeBlass came out and said, "Oh, we're gonna cooperate with CJI, and like this is all what's good for them is good for us," and basically kind of did the kumbaya thing. And then this week, Danielle Kelly, you're right. I mean, she had just posted this social media post rocking the One FC brand and talking about it, uh, and then somebody had asked her something, and like, when are you going to fight again? And she replied to this comment and said, "Oh, we reached out to one and the matchmaker, hopefully soon." And then the next day she was released. So I don't know if maybe somebody took that wrong. Like maybe she crossed somebody by saying that. Maybe there's a backstory to it. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's all kayfabe, right? Maybe this was the plan all along and she knew she was going to get released and they just got to make it look like it was a big surprise. And maybe she's going to end up on CJI or somewhere else or doing something else. It is confusing though, because DeBlass said that the athletes would be able to cross compete. So I don't know what the logic would be in her having to be let go. It's an odd move. One FC it's like they dip their toes in the grappling thing and they do put on some cool matches, but it's just like it's very inconsistent. It's odd.
Can we just have a moment here? And this is going down the what if category. If they are doing this as kayfabe, we need people who actually watch pro wrestling to institute kayfabe. I'm tired of these people who barely watch wrestling storylines trying to go like, oh, it's kayfabe. You don't watch enough to know. Your education is too low. Oh, I know. We'll do a swerve. No, you're not. Just do business. Do business. Literally put on the match. She is a great athlete. It's fun to watch her. I thought she was doing just fine for the company. She had 2 back-to-back losses, but I didn't think they were all that indicative of her not having value. Having said that, if you're going through some financial strife, which it always seems like it's reported that you are and that you say you're not, and again, we can talk to the friends over at the UFC press release machine. Usually you're just trying to get in front of the story and just the way that they try and get in front of it. I just haven't seen profitability from them. Doesn't mean they're not making it. And we root for them because they put on the best hybrid of Muay Thai and grappling and fighting and literally all of the sports. It seems like there's a rudderless sort of ship here. And that's what makes it hard to say, oh, I hope they go to ONE FC, because didn't they just sign, was it Helena from Kingsway?
Yeah.
So that could have been a fun match to watch. They could have done so much with that. Did they need more bankroll? Did they lose that? But when an athlete is going out and saying, I'd love to do another match, and then you cut them, there is a discrepancy between that athlete's expectation and the reality of it. So it makes me somewhat concerned here on how that's going to play out. And it really, I don't know. I mean, if you're an athlete and you're looking at the different places you can sign right now, at least with UFC BJJ, you feel like you can probably be assured you'll get matches here and there. Maybe not a ton, but at least some. CJI, pretty assured once you're signed, you get a match. There's going to be options now, so you guys aren't the only people who get to have this sort of leeway with them. And some of these people are signed to Flow, or they have different exclusive contracts to wherever they're going to go. They're going to have places to go. And then your talent pool is going to suffer as a result, because some of your biggest people like Mikey and Canuto and some of these other people let their contracts go so that they could go to other places. And I feel like that's going to become a huge hindrance if the word on the street becomes you're not a place where you want to go. Anyway, Tim, any other thoughts on that before we move on?
No, I mean, I think you hit it. I think you nailed it. The other potentiality that I thought about is perhaps she didn't even have a contract with him and they were just in renegotiation and they decided we're not going to even, this is a dead end or we're going to go a different direction. And so they just took her off the website. Like, because it feels like a cut. Like, oh, you got cut. That always feels like you were working here and we fired you. But maybe it was just we were negotiating and didn't work out. I don't know. It's weird, though. It makes no sense.
I mean, having said that, I think we're in a space now where we are starting to see why it's so important to have very strong talent relations with grapplers. For years, we didn't have any other options. Now we're starting to get some. So it just, that to me really stuck out when I read like, oh, she's excited to get back there. Okay, cool. I just hadn't seen her in a match in a minute. And she lost to the same person twice. So it's not like they even found her other people. So if it's maybe the depth of the field isn't that high, then it sounds like if you're signing somebody like a Helena, then you're looking for new talent. But to then get rid of her seems like, well, you didn't really give her other options to say like, damn, she's got really bad. Like there doesn't seem to be any sense that's made there. I want to bring this up here as well, which is since my white belt days, now a brown belt, over 2 years now, MICA and KADE have to go at it this year. Would agree.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Seems like the streets are saying that, Tim. Well, I'm very excited about this next little thing that we're doing here because it has been thought about, talked about, believed on the internet. Let me just give some context to this as we move the chart a little bit forward. BAG versus BERG. In the comment section here at the PGF, there were a lot of people making some money BERG comments. It seems like the internet is very obsessed with him, his unique personality, and his fast approach to getting his black belt. So much so that they were in the chat making money BERG jokes the entire time. Well, lo and behold, we at the PGF were very excited to debut and have our opening day ceremonies, and we were debuting money bags. And it got me thinking, they sound so similar, especially when you're in the chat. Maybe you're typing one thing and you type the other. So we thought as an educational thing here, we would do the debut of a segment that we're calling Money Bag or Money BERG. In this segment, I'm going to ask Tim a few questions, and his job is to answer Money Bag or Money BERG. So why don't we give an example here? So Tim, if I were to say to you, this is something that tends to be worth $500 US, you would say
Money BERG.
That's incorrect. It's actually a money bag.
Okay,
because
I see it now.
We want to make sure now is his jiu-jitsu worth $500? Yes, that is the more correct version. So do you kind of have a way that you understand this is being played, Tim?
I thought it was the price of his haircuts. I'm sorry.
So, Tim, we have to do this in true game show format. So I'm actually going to give us more time on this clock because I'm going to bullshit a lot on this one. But
okay,
let's just talk this out real quick. We have to do this like a full game show. And I have to ask the question, Tim. We have to do the banter. So I have to get to know you. Tell us a little bit about you, Tim. Where do you come from? What do we need to know about you? What does the audience need to know about you if they've never met you before? Introduce yourself to America.
Well, I grew up in Stockton. It's really great. And I trained with the Diaz brothers. And then I moved to Nashville. So I'm a cowboy now. And I'm super excited to be here. I've never been on a game show and I don't know anything about jiu-jitsu, but I love money.
Well, you're in luck here. Now, Tim, I've heard a story. A little birdie told me that you've recently gone on vacation. Where'd you go?
We went to San Diego. Oh, it was so great. I wanted to stay there forever. The sunshine, the people, everybody's just gorgeous out there, Raf. It was so much fun.
And Tim, it wouldn't be a game show if we weren't asking you, what would you do with the money if we gave some out on this show?
I am going to put a down payment on a French horn that I've been trying to buy. I play in the orchestra in Nashville, and I can't wait. I'm super excited to get that money and put that down payment so I could get that horn and start playing.
You know, real story though. If you ever say that you're going to wisely spend your money, we would take you off the game show. Like, we basically boo people whenever we tell them, like, hey guys, what are you gonna do with the money? They're like, save it. Boo, try that again. So we do cut that. So I'm glad you rescued that one to do that. Tim, what do you think of this game show? Do you like money bags and money bergs?
I definitely like money bags. They're one of my favorite things. I'm interested in Money Berg. I don't know a lot about him, but he seems fun.
To the D. Okay, well, just so stupid. Okay, here's what's gonna happen. I have some here, and it says, the love money part is the truest thing ever said. That's fair. So I'm glad that your own students here are coming in and saying, like, well, if you know one thing about Tim, it's that he only loves money.
This guy doesn't show up on the bullpen for 8 months, and then Winter Stick makes an appearance with a little dagger just to put it on my side and then back out again. I love it.
All right. Well, Tim, here's the game. I'm going to read you several statements. Your job is to determine money bag or money berg. You will be under duress here, so we're going to see how many you can get in 1 minute's time. Okay? When I press this, you will have 1 minute. You will hear a statement. Your job is money bag or money berg. Do you understand the rules?
Yes.
Now, if you get a certain amount right, we will give you some of Money Berg's money. How much?
I get a Money Berg money bag.
Not sure, because we're going to find out how much it costs to tap a major athlete, and then we will determine a price based off of that. All right, Tim, here we go. In just a few seconds, we start the game in 3, 2, 1. Got their black belt in less than 3 years.
Money Berg.
Given to athletes when they do something good at the PGF.
Money bag.
Known for their black socks.
Money Berg.
Features 20 of the newest up-and-coming athletes.
Money bag.
Genius level jiu-jitsu.
Money bag.
I'm sorry, the correct answer was Money Berg. The most creative jiu-jitsu out there.
Money Berg.
Correct, Money Berg. Makes tons of money.
Money Berg.
Undetermined, not quite sure. Has tapped Mikey Musumeci.
I'm going Money Berg, man. The way he's pointing at me, he's doing it with conviction.
And finally, featured Jake Shields.
Money Berg.
The answer was both. It was a trick question. Unfortunately, Tim, you did not get all of them right or in the allotted time. So this week, you will not be getting the main prize. However, as a consolation prize, we will be giving you something. And I'm not sure how much you're into it, but I will ask a question for you. Do you still want the runner-up, the consolation prize, Tim?
Yes.
You do. Okay. Do I have that as a confirmation, because you cannot return these?
Yes, I do. I feel like, yes, I want what's behind this door. I want it.
All right, Tim. Unfortunately for losing today, you will be taking home some black socks. You can grapple in them no matter what. Even if the occasion calls for it, it's not weird. You're weird. Black socks being used by BERG in every single time he rolls. Don't leave home without it, at least not the mats. That has been our first installment of Money Bag and Money BERG. Please tune in to future episodes to see even more if you like it. So there you have it, guys. That was our debut segment of Money Bag and Money BERG. Tim, you also did a great job this week of finding us a fight. What can you tell us about this week's low light highlight, my friend?
This is a airport fight, and airport fights are woo. See, there's the departure airport fights. That's when you get in a fight before you get on your plane. There's the transit fights, which that's when you're fighting in the plane. That shit's whack. That's crazy. In a metal tube up in the sky, but go for it. And then there's the arrival fights, and those usually take place around the baggage. And it usually involves more than one person because at that point, everybody's kind of tired and worn out. I want you to pay attention to the guys that start on the ground and take it up onto the baggage carousel. It's a beautiful thing. And then there is a double hair pull, like draw. These two ladies just getting a staring contest on the ground with each other's hair. And if you watch the one that gets up, she gets hers back. If you pay close attention to it, I'll try to point it out when it takes place. I'm going to fire it up on my phone and synchronize it with you when you play it because it's a lot easier to see that way.
Understood. And I guess the only other question I have for you, Tim, is why did you pick this fight? Of all the fights there is to pick, sir.
I picked it specifically because it's so chaotic, but when you just focus on one person and there's so many people, so you could do it multiple times and you just watch what this one particular person does throughout the whole fight. It's wild. And then you go back and you're like, now I'm going to watch the guy in the white jacket. And then he's like, dude, he's all over the place. Now I'm going to watch the lady that got her hair pulled. It just, there's a lot of meat on this bone.
I guess the reason why I asked is because when I was sent this by you, I looked at it and I go, I don't know that one time is going to do it for this one because it is like the Avengers Endgame of titles. There's like Spider-Man's in the back somewhere. Ant-Man's crawling up somewhere. And I just thought, like, of all the chaos you could bring to this show, Tim, this is one of the more chaotic ones that I think you have brought me and dropped on my doorstep. And to me, it's a certain sort of lovable chaos, but it's one that I get slightly concerned. And I guess before I push the play button here, when did you find this one? And was this one that Stella gave to you?
This was not one Stella gave to me. She's been super busy. She started a new job. She's been sending me less fight videos.
Wait, hold on. She's been pulled away from her true love, which is finding these fight videos.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. My condolences, sir.
Yeah. So I found this one today. Not going to lie. Now I'm perusing fight videos during the week. The problem is a lot of them I'm like, oh, we've done this. We've done this. Or it's just like, I think there's something better. I want to keep looking. If I see something really good though, I'll grab it right on the spot. And I actually was looking for a particular one that I haven't been able to go back and find. I should have grabbed it, but I stumbled on this one when I was looking for it. One more thing, right as this video starts, in the bottom corner of the screen, you'll see a hand reach up like this, and it grabs this guy that's in a hat, and it basically kind of pulls him back like, no, don't get involved in that. The smartest person in the room. This is the smartest person on the flight. I'm telling you. She just like, no, honey, not this one.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put on the overlay right now. Tim, take it away in 3,
So
2,
here we go.
1.
We got a melee at the airport, and I want you to watch the guy that gets double-legged, and he gets taken up. They take it all the way up onto the baggage carousel. Now, on the bottom right hand, you see two ladies on the ground with a double hair pull, and a girl in white and a girl in black. Now, watch the lady in black as she gets up. She's going to get to all fours. She starts to make her way, and she kind of casually walks off like, oh, she picks up her phone. She walks over to the side, and then the action comes by her, and watch this. She gets right back into it. Boom! Throws dude on the ground. Bam! Throws a knee. Not playing around. If you go back and you watch these individuals, it happens over and over again. It is a wild airport baggage claim melee. Like it's off. I mean, there's so much going on.
Tim, this is perhaps one of the busiest ones you've ever seen. I'm going to try and keep it to 2 viewings here. So I'm going to play it again. We may not get to everything, but I might have to slow it down. Let's start with this. Okay. Yes. The ma'am who is circling at the very bottom, grabbing the husband like, no, honey, you're not doing it today. Not another one. Okay. You remember what happened last time. Smart.
Look how his arms are crossed.
It is just like the fact that he has his arms crossed like that is just, boy, I want to get into a fight at the airport baggage claim. Like, okay, well, sorry, bud. The wife says no today. So she pulls him out of the way. Now, this dude over here who is bearing arms with the black hoodie is waiting. He wants this to go down. I guess the question is, Tim, have you ever had this many friends who really wanted to get into a fight? Because I sure as hell haven't.
I can't even like. What is this? Is this like? Was this like a pop up? You know, where everyone just decided to fight at one time? Like, I don't get it, dude.
I have to tell you, the hair pull here is definitely from a mom, because that is a mom hair pull. She knows the right length, the right sort of stretch for it. And I love the dude in back who is actually guarding them. Like, he's actually putting himself as a protective barrier. One thing that people are not talking enough about is RIP neck holder. That little neck pillow down there, just abandoned. That's one of the true casualties of war here. So everybody starts to circle. And I guess the only thing I'm a little disappointed in is that people aren't using the little mover for the luggage, because I feel like you could get a good Superman punch if you're using that as some extra oomph. But I digress. They try to get on it, and then comedically they can't keep their balance for some strange reason. Maybe it's because it's moving. Now we get some reinforcements here, and Neck Pillow Lady is keeping hers on with that. And I have to say, smart move so that people don't know who you are a little bit later. Now they start struggling. There's some back and forth action here. And I got to tell you, the dude in the red hood all the way in the back, he seems kind of like an athlete. So I'm hoping that's not Kyle Chambers, Mama Chambers. I'm very sorry if it is. Make sure he keeps the peace. And they decide, let's go ahead and comedically get back into another fight. But Neck Pillow cannot be bothered. Neck Pillow says, nope, y'all need to cut it out. And this is where cooler heads prevail. And they say, hey, one last shot. Let's push each other around. I have to say, those are my favorite kind of fights for this reason, Tim. When you are thinking the fight is done and people start doing this, it is a truly calming moment. And I feel like it's really what America needs at this point. More people need to just get into brawl so that they can get it out of their system, and then less therapy bills as a result of all this. So, Tim, before we sign off here today, I did notice that we got some more comments than usual that we should probably address. So we do have some very, very quick gallery comments that we'll kind of barrel through, and then we'll call it a day before we tell people to come see us again on Tuesday. But MacTube, who's a longtime friend of the show, didn't give us one, gave us like 20 questions. So I'm just going to go through these real quick. Okay, are you guys going to talk about UFC BJJ 2? So, MacTube, if only there was some sort of organizational structure that would tell you what we're going to talk about on the show. I don't know where it would exist. Would it be, hold on, is it over here? No, it's over that way, right? It's that thing. If it's not on there, we're probably not talking about it. Like, I can't help you guys anymore when you're just like, what are you going to talk about? Well, it says who's number one. I think we're talking about that. PGF, ding. Literally, MICA and 1FC, we've done what we can. It says, as MICA said, he's going to do CJI. Do you think he'll be Andre's surprise guy? I think we kind of went over that. What do you think about B team changing and Craig Jones leaving? I have mixed feelings. What are the mixed feelings? Like, they're just going to rebrand. Go ahead, Tim.
I said he's worried about Craig's mental health. I have mixed feelings. I'm happy for him, but I'm concerned.
There's nothing really to feel about other than they're just literally losing Craig and Seth is what it sounds like. And I wonder if you do lose them, does that mean they're taking that time to run CJI full time? Is it that they want to do other ventures? I think they're welcome to do that. Do you think CJI should have went with Brianna St. Marie or Bia Mesquita over Sarah Galvo? I mean, we like both of them, so I have no issue with either of them getting brought on. I think Bia Mesquita's been also busy with MMA, and Brianna St. Marie, her time is coming again. Like, she's amazing. I have no issue with that. It says, sorry, I spam questions. No kidding. We have a couple other comments from some other folks here, Tim, and I wanted to get your thoughts on these because I found these on the PGF website.
Yeah, let's hear it.
And it says, oh, this is actually from one of our idiot friends. He said he thought he could be interesting enough on TV, and I said there's zero way he could be interesting on TV. This says, Rafael is a time traveler. He's always ahead. Smooth.
Yeah,
so I think
would
what
agree.
He's saying is he's so advanced, he is time traveling. Tim, what are your feelings on this one?
I mean, yeah, he's smooth. He's young and he's quick. So yeah, he's ahead of the game a little bit, but you know, I'm not going to say he's breaking the speed of light. He's not that fast. Like, let's not get totally ahead of ourselves, but
he's doing very well. But is he essentially a DeLorean? No, I don't think he is breaking the space-time continuum. Having said that, maybe just short of it. Some other notes that were in the PGF. It says a lot more name value last season, but good athletes this one as well. So I think this dude's like, how dare I not know who these people are? How dare I not know who they are? Yeah, bring me more name value. That's how they get name value, dork. You get to see them, then you know who they are. And I would argue this. Were you not entertained by some of those guys going out there and killing themselves? Amazing. Calm yourself. Let's move on to our next comment here. And Tim, I'll read it and then I'll get your reaction from it. But it says, where can we buy the New Hope rash guard? Any thoughts on that, Tim?
I'm sure that the New Hope Kings would love to sell you some merchandise. My recommendation to you is to hit up Travis Thomas online. Look him up on Instagram. I think it's like Praying Mantis BJJ or Praying Mantis or something like that. You'll find him, and he'll be able to set you in the right path.
Fair.
Give me one of those too. Shit.
Hey, man, I don't mind these kids asking. Actually, we have essentially two more here. Okay. This is one I'll read to you, and then I need your reaction on, because this dude wrote a little bit. It says, so far, I'm just annoyed with the first match. Literally match number 1, which was Landon versus Jet. These kids have zero knowledge. Watching the kid in red just flop around and drop back on leg locks, not even doing it well, by the way, was painful. No guard passing, no setups, no control, just flop and pray. If that's what a Kingsway purple belt looks like, then hell, I feel great about myself. Tim, what say you to this comment?
Yeah. So there's a common mistake that people make when they armchair quarterback against these guys that are competing at a pretty high level. And you could look at their rank, but the rank doesn't mean shit in no-gi jiu-jitsu. It literally doesn't mean very much at all. And there's a tendency to think, oh, they just look sloppy. They look this, they look that. But I would challenge you to step on the mats with those guys and see how far you get. These guys they're assassins at that speed. Like, they're going at that speed because that's how fast you have to go to be competitive at that level, especially at that weight class. Yeah, you think you could do a lot of things to these guys. And I've had moments like that too, where I'm like, this guy's small. I'll just roll him up and pass his guard. I'll just Toriando guard pass him and then put the pressure on him and tap him out. It just doesn't happen, man. These These kids are good. Just because you think it looks sloppy stylistically, one of the things about the PGF is that you have to have action. You'll get penalized. There's no like taking a bunch of time to do your classic old guy jujitsu. Like that, nobody wants to see that. So
Can I just point this out here? And I think I have to zoom in on that particular part before we go on. This dude actually edited that comment. So it wasn't quite right. He needed some extra time to edit that one in particular. Cornbread, I would just tell you this. Landon Elmore's pretty good. Has a good submission rate. Probably would submit you. But I would also tell you this. It's 15 matches over 5 weeks. Get to know them a little bit better. Because trying to submit Jet Thompson, you need to have an interesting entry to get in. Because nobody's really doing that on the PGF. And I would argue maybe have a roll with Jet Thompson and see how creative you got to be before you get submitted. And Landon Elmore didn't. So I think it's a very safe space to say these things online. Unfortunately, we are here. I see this and it says, good afternoon, by the way. Annoyed YouTube didn't give me a notification. I have the bell highlighted for it. So at this point, this is somebody arguing with the Sears website that it doesn't work properly, but thank you. And it says, I didn't call CJ old, just pointed Rafael was less than half CJ's age. So I guess the weird part about that is, Egg, in a way, yes, that still is calling somebody old. Like, I don't know how other way to tell you that, but it is. And your last comment here, which is, Hoffa goes a Brazilian miles per hour. You know what? That one wasn't worth it. That was a long one.
I liked it.
Here's what I'm going to put it.
Old. He's just saying he's older.
Dude, just as somebody who's written a ton of jokes, literally every setup for, I'm not saying he's old, is followed by he's old.
Right.
It's literally a science. I wanted to bring this up here because before we see this match happen, this made me very happy. Max Hansen, Gianni Grippo about to have their match, right? So we put up a post that's like a part from an interview where Max Hansen was just giving some insights into his training. This dude here says, he's not beating Gianni Grippo tomorrow. And I just wrote, okay. You think he'll win? Now, Tim, where do you think this logically goes next? Do you think he's done? Because he wasn't. No, he goes, my response was, I think I just posted a clip of his interview, dude. And he goes, Max will defeat. Do you think that Max will defeat Gianni tomorrow? And I just put shrug. So these are the comments I'm getting on my site. And then this is like the ultimate payoff here because I didn't give him what he wanted. So I literally spelled it out for him and said, hey, man, no care on a preference. Looking forward to a good match. And then I just got cool. Like at this point, this dude knows I was farming him just for extra comments. But like, bro, we know a lot of these people. We wish them all well. And at a certain point, we're Switzerland. We will likely interview these people. And sometimes they get in their feels if they hear us say that we will make a prediction. Doesn't mean we don't make predictions. But like, I'm not going to waste my predictions in the comment section with a dude who's just really mad and showed up just to be like, he's not going to win. And it's like, you showed up on Max Hansen's video talking about perspective on competing just to be like, that dude's not winning. The fuck? Chill out, bro. Anyway, I just wanted to end with that. Tim, tell the people where they can find you, good sir.
You can find me on your favorite social media platform inside BJJ. If you're out in Nashville, come see me at 10th Planet Nashville. If you're on the West Coast in the Central Valley, go see my homies at 10th Planet Stockton. And Real American Freestyle. Don't know what's going to happen. RIP Hulkamania. Train, say your prayers, take your vitamins. You might live to 71. Outside of that, Raf, great to see you again. I am stoked to be able to do this with you, man. And I'm looking forward to the Tuesday show. I felt like week one was a good boost for PGF. So we got some cool stuff ahead, man.
Hold on. I saw a note here before I let you go.
Yeah.
It says MacTude. just to be clear, of course I saw your subjects on the side. I just brought it up because I didn't see it there and wanted to know your thoughts on UFC BJJ.
Oh.
So you knew it's not on the board, but just asking, are you guys going to talk about UFC BJJ? Like, literally just pitch at me. Hey, man, I'd love to hear your thoughts on UFC BJJ, and I might answer it. But being like, are you guys going to talk about it? I'm going to be like, is it on the board? Is it on the board? My dad used to have this really funny thing that he used to say, where he would tell people if they ever wondered if something was not logistically about to happen, he'd be like, what does the contract say? What's the contract say? Literally, you would not get an edge wise on him. You would just go, bring me the contract. See, contract doesn't say it. Doesn't mean it. And I'll be like, damn. So that board is not a full contract, but it's a pretty good start to a contract that says that's probably what we're going to talk about. But we will be back here Tuesday. And Tim, I appreciate you, sir. I'll go ahead and close this up, but thank you so much for your hard work. And I look forward to further installments of Moneybag and Money BERG. Good, sir.
Hell yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this week's installment of The Bullpen. We love and appreciate you guys. You guys the best. What can I say about this week? Well, it was crazy. I did a show, went out to do more shows, came back from doing a show to do a show. So that is what we do here at The Bullpen. We are full of shows, and you are going to see our next show here with me and Tim this Tuesday. You will see us getting back together, and we'll give you more updates, full analysis from week 1, as well as a preview of what you can expect from week 2. So look for those. It's going to be PGF Tuesdays and Bullpen Open Topic on Fridays. But for right now, I want to remind you guys, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to us on all of our platforms, whether it's Inside BJJ or myself at Grappling Hour. And you can also find me and Tim at The Bullpen Live on Instagram. So we do have an Instagram account for that. And thank you so much. When you see our videos go up, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe as much as you can, because we are putting out hella content right now. And go give some love to these kids who are just working their asses off for you guys. All the PGF athletes are going out of their way to give you great matches, and a lot of them are putting up some fun content about the stuff that they're doing in between. So you could see that today some of the boys were over at 10th Planet HQ in Vegas, and they got some rolls in with the commish. So you guys definitely want to pay attention to what they are up to, and it will give you possibly some insight as to what's going on inside their minds as this crazy thing is unfolding. You can also find me at patreon.com/grappling hour. Give me some love and support. $5 a month. You see my interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, some extra bonus content. All right, ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the show. My thanks to all of you for tuning in. You have been a great audience, and we will see you back very, very shortly. But keep an eye on all the great things that are happening here on The Bullpen. But until then, it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.